everyone, this is Cameron Montgomery with Ollie Cat Design, and today I'm going to walk you through the brand design process for a client of ours. We did a rebranding job for Stephanie McLean Kirby earlier this year, and she rebranded her business and she renamed her business from the Stephanie McLean team, and she changed it to Kirby & Co. Realty Group. So now I'm going to walk you through our process from start to finish. We will start with questions that I had in the beginning for Stephanie, and then we will work our way all the way to the finished product, and I will show you her brand book. Let's get going. One of the first things I do when I do a brand design for a client is we have a call or a meeting to discuss their needs and their vision for their business. People have different reasons for wanting to rebrand their business. In Stephanie's case, she had married and changed her last name from McLean to Kirby, and so she wanted to reflect that in her realty business. During our first meeting, I asked Stephanie some questions about her business, and we'll kind of walk through what I learned from that here. So the notes I had from our first meeting were as follows. I'd like for them to see me, this is coming from Stephanie, I'd like for them to see me as someone they can trust, someone that will take care of them and guide them through this process the entire way. I'll be an ear when things get overwhelming, selling a home with emotional ties. I'll be your friend celebrating when we win the bid for your future home. I want to be an example of Christ, loving and yet professional. Some of the attributes she wants her branding and her business to convey are her beliefs as a Christian. She's a Christ follower, easygoing yet luxurious. She wants to come across as relatable, professional, and someone who's like a friend to you during your home buying or selling process. Colors that Stephanie liked for her brand include blue, white, silver, gold, and black. And as she said, she would like to be able to place her trust in me and in Ollie Cat Design to create a brand that is recognizable and catchy, and that she was open to suggestions. So from that initial meeting, we will go to my first draft of options for her branding. This is the first round of concepts for Kirby & Co. Realty Group. So first, I review her current logo and her current branding. So as you can see, she was previously known as Stephanie McLean Real Estate, and she ran the Stephanie McLean team, which had a nice ring to it. But since she got a ring, her name changed to Kirby, and so that is why we're doing the rebrand. Her husband is also a business owner, and he owns Kirby Custom Homes. One of the things we discussed was that she wanted her new logo to be sort of a sibling to his logo, and sort of make it to where they kind of fit together. Definitely not like a copy of one another, but that they kind of go together more so than her previous logo did, to kind of look like a family, a little family of businesses. So when we discussed how she wants her clients to feel whenever they associate words with her business, some of the things, as I mentioned before, were easygoing, Christian, friend, luxury, relatable, professional. And we kind of came up with the approach of approachable luxury. Approachable luxury communicates many of the things that she's mentioned she wants her brand to convey. Next, I gathered some information about other local competitors or other local businesses who do the same type of service as Stephanie and her team. One of the things I noted when we had a discussion when we met about this first round of drafts was that a lot of the businesses use similar colors. A lot of them use blues and reds. Some of them use orange or yellow within their logos. Now we're going to see the first logo concept that I created for Kirby & Co. Realty Group. This first logo concept was my favorite, if I'm honest, and it was also Stephanie's favorite. So I used a font to create the wording for Kirby & Co. That font was even more textured than it is currently, and I altered the font to fill in some of the gaps within it. The font is called Apothecary Serif Regular, which was purchased from Creative Market. And within that font, if you go and look at what it actually looks like originally, it has a lot of holes within the text. So in each of the letters, there would be holes within the letters. And that is something that I went through and I filled those holes to where we have a solid font, a solid logo concept with the tattered, textured feel that I was wanting. On this next page, I did some mock-ups. I did some concepts in different formats using the same style just to give my client a reference point for how this could be used in real life. Next, we're going to go to logo concept number 2. And this is Kirby & Co. Realty Group. This was the one, when I met with my client, that I said most closely related to her husband's. This is the one that would be like a twin, instead of just a sibling. This would probably be a twin to her husband's, although it wouldn't be identical, right? So this was the second option that I presented to her. And it's catchy, but it just didn't have the same impact. And it didn't have the same feminine characteristics as the first one did that she was really drawn to. And logo concept number 3, Kirby & Co. Realty Group. Now, this one leaned a lot more just professional, and it communicated more of just a professional corporate type feel than the last two. Now, I did use a different font here to give it's the same weight as the other ones, but it has a little bit more of that feminine feel than the actual font would have if I would have used the same one as here. So I did change this out to make it have more of a feminine touch to it, but because of the weight of this font, it all just seems a little bit more masculine than what she was going for. So we did not go with option 3. I'll just say that. But here are some mock-ups using that logo. And it's a nice logo, but it didn't 100% convey exactly what she was wanting it to. And I fully agreed with that. So next, we will move on to the revisions. As you guessed, probably, we went with option number 1, and I showed her some different options that we could do with that logo. So we had horizontal variations. This would be the primary. This would be something she could use as a heading or on her website. It has nice balance to it. These are her stacked variations. when I do a logo set, I always like to do stacked variations as an additional option for clients if it's not their primary, just because they fit really well in different situations. So say you need a profile image for your business. Well, neither one of these are going to look right in a circle profile image. And so one of these options would be better suited for that. And it still has the same brand feel as the primary logo. Then my client and I discussed that she would like full name variations for her logo as well, just in case there's ever a time that she wants to use the full Kirby and Company Realty Group instead of Kirby and Co. And in the design process, we actually made the decision to shorten it to Kirby and Co. because it was a little bit catchier. It had a nice ring to it. It was also a shorter name to be able to play more around with it, with formatting and everything. And so during the branding process, we chose to go with Kirby and Co. For the primary logos and throughout communications. And then Kirby and Company, would be the alternative and a full name option just in case she ever needs it. And once again, we have the same mock-ups and just presentation to kind of show you what it would look like in real life scenarios and different ways she could use the different formats. So you see we use the stacked version over here on a t-shirt, also on the keys. We use the primary horizontal option on a gift bag. As a realtor, a lot of them have closing gifts that they give to their clients. And so I thought this was a nice touch to kind of show how that could be implemented in her real life business. There's also a coffee mug, which could also be, a client gift. So that would be nice. And then this shows one of the horizontal options as it would fit maybe within her website. All right, next. Let's go here. From there, if you notice with these first drafts, I used my brand colors behind those, right? So when I first go through the brand design process with a client, I start out in black and white, right? So there's a lot of times you'll probably end up using, a one color process for your logo, and you need to make sure whatever logo you choose will look okay like that. You don't want to choose a multicolor logo that you can't afford to print because it costs so much more and it doesn't look good in a single color. So whenever I start any design project for logo or brand design, I start out with a single color. And that just shows me you like the bones of the design. You like, deep down, you love this design. And then the color is just the icing on the cake. So in the first meeting, Stephanie and I discussed, color preferences. And then, once we got further into the design process, I got more in tune with exactly what she was wanting. And so one of the things she did for me was send these inspiration pictures. She loved this design, and she loved the color scheme of the designs of this home. And so she sent these to me as inspiration. She also said that she had a sapphire ring at home that she would love to draw inspiration from. She just loved the ring, she loved the color, and that's one of the brand colors that she wanted to have within her business. So, drum roll please. It is time to look at her brand book. Let me pull that over here for you. Here it is. Let me go back to the top. Okay, so once we were all finished and Stephanie was happy with the colors and the variations of the logo design, I created a brand guide for her. So if you're not familiar with this process, if you have never started a business or been part of the marketing or brand design team at a business, you may be like, what in the world is a brand guide? Well, a brand guide is something that should be created by your designer for your business. What the brand guide is used for is to make sure that your branding, your logo usage is consistent across everything that you do. Anything that gets in front of your target audience or anything that gets in front of your employees that pertains to your business is cohesive. If they see something that you've created or an ad that you've done or a social media post, they should be able to look at that and know that it's yours. So that builds trust. It builds brand recognition. There's a lot of benefits to keeping your branding cohesive throughout everything you do for your business. So the brand guide is used for that. It also is helpful whenever you need to get something printed for your business. If you have to go to a different designer than who created your business, you have something to send them to show them exactly what they need to do for your marketing piece or your annual report or whatever it is. And it gives them clear guidelines and the boundaries that they need to stick to make sure that what they create for you is consistent with your brand. So now we'll go through her brand guide, the brand guide for Kirby & Co. Realty Group. Okay, so on this first page, we have all the logos shown. So we show the primary logo, which should be used the majority of the time as it allows. Now, sometimes it doesn't allow. Sometimes other logos or brand marks would look better. So then we have our secondary logos, and then our brand mark, and then an example of what a brand pattern could look like. So say you want to do a backdrop for a Zoom call or for an event, for a photo booth or something like that. This is an idea of what you could do and still stick within brand guidelines. And then here, this shows her brand colors. In the middle here, you can see I've used gold because that's one of the accents that we wanted to tie into her brand. I've listed the brand fonts. So as you can see, as far as the logo goes, we used Apothecary Serif Regular. In her design, we also used RM Connect. And then White Garden Script 3 is something that we used as like an accent font. Not something that we would use very often, but maybe for like a headline or just very sparingly. I also made note of the brand voice, that we wanted it to sound as approachable, and luxury. And so I made note of that in her brand guide. And then I included some mock-ups and imagery. So this is just some examples of what her photography could look like, or how you could use some of the fonts, and how you can tie in her brand colors within the photos without actually just using, just a flat background, So this is a pattern in the background, and it's the "and" out of her logo in gold, So if you want to include some fun accents like that, you can. And you can still stick to the branding and make it cohesive like it needs to be. Some brand guides are more in depth than this. If there are other areas within your business, say you have different sectors or different, areas in your business that need a different logo variation, then that would be included in this as well. I hope this was helpful in walking you through our brand design process. Every customer is different, but we try to keep our brand process pretty streamlined and the same so that you know what to expect when you come to Ollie Design for your next project. If you're interested in our services, or if you'd like to just schedule a call with us, please contact us. You can visit olliecatdesign.com. That's olliekatdesign.com. And we'd love to speak with you. Have a wonderful day.